My name is Pompi from Zambia. I'm a gospel artist, also an entrepreneur, also a business systems developer. I'm here as a musician to Kampala. I've been invited by Mavuno Church. They're having an event called Retro. Basically, they believe that basically change has to come from the roots. And the way my interpretation of it is when Jesus Christ dried up the fig tree, he dried it up from the root, because if you leave the root still working, it can grow back up. So that's why I'm here. I came to support Mavuno with that endeavor. So I'm enjoying Kampala as usual. I love this place. Yeah. Obviously, when I was a secular artist, when I had an encounter with God, was at the peak of my career. What I was dreaming for had come. I was signed to a Nigerian label which had enough resources to make anything possible for me almost. And at that moment, when everything that I had been working for had come, is when God had an encounter with God. So then I left that, an album, only 2 songs left, huge budgets that were put to it. But when I came now to the gospel, I was thinking that that's bye-bye to comfort, that's bye-bye to influence of a certain kind. I thought it was, to be honest, because I had an encounter with God, it was more of the fear of God. Like, okay, I'm going to do it because I know that God exists. But I was fighting the aspect of, like, my life is now going to be limited so much. But it does not happen at all. If anything, things even became much, much higher. The provision it was there, has been there. I've never struggled from day one. Yeah, every struggle that I faced, I would consider a test. I saw the fruit after it and what God was trying to teach me and everything. So, yeah, it's been awesome. So I lack nothing in this new self-actualized Pompi. I can never go back, ever. Yeah. I think honesty. As much as I always tell fellow believers that honesty is easy for people to relate with, even in the gospel. So not as a gospel artist, you're not into PR. You're not into managing your image to an extent where you are expressing what a gospel artist should look like rather than who you are. And I share everything. I share my struggles. I share my perspectives of my relationship with God and how the revelations that I have when I'm in prayer. So I think that honesty is what people I think relate with, and honesty, the truth is timeless. I think, yeah, the truth is timeless, and I think I wouldn't have a full explanation for it, but I think that's what it is. That the truth and God's wisdom is just timeless, just like the Bible. It is the perfect truth, and it is timeless. Yeah, God. Even me being here in Uganda. I don't even know where Uganda came from. Kenya, Namibia. I think I think I've been called to minister. My heart is for the lost. I always like to define who I was when I was lost. I used to host a lot of parties. I used to be, a party host, and I used to love the social engineering aspect of making people have fun. I used to be like the one. I used to love being the one who's responsible for people having fun. Like, I'm making these guys have a good time. I used to love it. It was like a passion. So now, after I got born again, I relate with those people. I relate with those people, and I go very controversial, okay, in my country maybe not anymore, because they sort of gave up, and I guess people understood the vision, and I guess God vindicated me to some extent. But I would be around people who people would feel I shouldn't be around. Those are the people who my heart is for, especially the African youth, because I feel Africa has the largest youth population. It's got a huge youth population, and I think the youth is very influential. The youth is the future. The youth is the future generation who's going to be in power. The youth have all the time, all the energy. If you want to make a revolution, if Africa is to develop, they need to focus on youth. And if there's a moral, cultural, mental revolution or change, it has to focus on the youth. So that's where my passion is, on sort of culture development or building moral values. Not just relationship-based, but also business-based, how we can make money, you know, even in the gospel. So where you don't compromise the gospel, and make money honestly, but you don't compromise, because it seems that to make money you might need to compromise sometimes in order for you to do that. But I try to give models. As a systems developer, I think one of my giftings is creating models. So I like to share models with musicians or people who've got giftings or talents, so they can change their talent into revenue. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's a matter of people seeing your life, I think. So, first of all, I think the gospel should be founded on love. Now, the love we are taught about is not a conditional love. It's an unconditional love. Condition being, oh, this one is cohabiting. Oh, this one is a prostitute. Oh, this one drinks. We are not called to reach out to believers, you know. We are not told to throw the gospel at them at a distance and expect them to get saved. We are called to disciple them, to reach out to them. Not where you just meet someone who's lost and immediately throw scriptures at them. Ask them, how are you doing? How's your day? How's home? Do you have children? Do you have a wife? Have conversation, be friends, and then throw the gospel. And I think that model of Mavuno Church, and people, these guys actually thinking that you actually care about me and you also have the message of the gospel, then they're open to listening to the gospel. But not where they just want you, they just feel that you would just want them to change. And that's your only agenda. You're not interested in them, you're interested in their change. And then after the change is when you will be interested in them. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's the gospel. So I truly believe, as controversial as it may be, the truth is the truth. I'm sure Mavuno has justified it enough times in there, but we can't pick and choose. If there was good news about something, let's say there was an earthquake tomorrow, and everyone is going to die from the earthquake, and you've got the message to tell everyone that, oh, guys, you need to move to safety. You're not going to pick and choose, okay, you look dirty, I'm not going to tell you about this news, you can't start picking. Now the good news is for everyone. So I love Mavuno's approach in not restricting it to the four walls of the church. They go to anyone.
So why can you pause?
My latest album is called Broken English. Now, why Broken English is God uses brokenness. If you read the Bible, a lot of people like to read people from the Bible from the glory days, but they forget where these people came from. And he uses brokenness. He uses brokenness, and I want to leave people who are at a place where they feel they are broken or they feel they are not qualified. God's qualifications are not like man's qualifications in picking people. In fact, when God picks someone, usually man is like, they usually feel that that person is not the right person, you know. So God's qualifications are very different from man's qualifications. So I just want to encourage the people here that God can use brokenness, and I am an example of that. I did not see myself being a gospel artist, not even in my fantasies then, not even something that I could imagine then, you know, because I didn't feel I was worthy, you know, I didn't feel I had the qualities to be able to do that. But amazingly, God has brought me here, and that's the message. Anyone can be used, you know. Don't use man. Don't build relationships fearing man. Fear God more. Fear your gifting, the assignment God has given you, rather than the opinions that people have over you. Yeah, so I think that's what I'll leave.